Hey guys, welcome to the Squeegee podcast, in particular the MiniPods. We're doing a series of shorter podcasts just to introduce you to people who mean a lot to the industry and in particular mean a lot to the IWCA. I'm really happy to have my guest host here, Jorge Aguilar. How you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. Appreciate you having me here, man.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait for people who don't know you to learn a little bit about you because you played a pivotal role in the growth of the RDS part in the best practices in the IWCA. So we'll get to that. But first, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You have a really interesting entry into the window cleaning industry back from when you were just a kid. Why don't you tell that story?
Yeah, of course. I was 18 years old, circling newspapers, and I found window cleaning, so I got a job and got trained in commercial work. I actually got trained at the Chiefs Stadium, so that was pretty
Oh my
cool,
goodness.
like an intro. And from there, I knew I was ambidextrous, but they saw something in me that I did not, and they asked me if I wanted to do high rise. So I got into high rise after that, and driving down my street, I found this residential company, down my like 3 blocks over from my house. So I
Right.
actually started doing residential, and so I learned, commercial high rise residential pretty quickly within like the first year of being in window cleaning. And
My
shortly after
goodness.
that, I decided to start my own business. So I was, like almost 20 years old when I started the business, walking the streets of Kansas City and getting work, and, started as a residential company that just turned 20 years old in January 1st. And
Wow. Congrats.
yeah, so I went from there to growing to high rise nationally. We've been about 15 years doing that, and then now into training and with that height training. So yeah, that's a long story short.
So I just can't. I just was amazed at how young you were, and you just were like, "I want to be a window cleaner." You're just like, "That's what I want to do,"
Yeah,
and then you just went out and got the job. I mean, it
yeah.
shows a lot of initiative. So
I
what
fell in
made you
love with
go
window
in?
cleaning, man.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there.
That's all good. Yeah, no, I fell in love with window cleaning, and I haven't done anything ever since. I'm a lifer, as they call it.
A lie, right? Very cool, very cool. So what made you go into high rise? Because I know you start off with residential, and just I know for me, I would. You asked me when I first started, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm never doing high rise. No, no, thanks. Someone else can do that." What made you want to go into get trained for that?
I love being in the sky, man. I love sitting in the chair above, like, 250 feet. It's a piece to me. It's one of my happy places. I enjoy every second that I do it, and actually about to retire from the field in June, and I'm looking forward to not working physically anymore because my
Yeah,
body, doesn't like it, but
I get it.
I'm missing it already, and I still haven't, gotten out of the chair. So
Yeah,
it's a
well, that's
passion,
cool.
man. I love it.
For sure. Well, you're doing a lot of good. And could you tell us a little bit about the at height training? So you've got your residential side, you've got your high rise side, but just I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, how long has it been since you started at height?
Yeah, yeah, almost five. Yep.
5 years. So tell us a little bit what your
Yeah.
goals are with that height.
Yeah, so at high training came from the uh, fruition of the RDS safe practices, and knowing that we could help more than just our own company. We built out a training facility here in Kansas City. It's about 7,000 square feet, and we built it out for our team, and specifically for training in high rise. Now it's got a residential roof with two angles on it. We've got a lot of residential glass as well. So we're able to train our teams here. But while we were, finalizing all of that, I was just like, why wouldn't we offer this to everyone?
Right.
And, dealing with the RDS safe practices and being on the safety and education committee and on the board, I decided to open at high training to be able to help cleaners get into high rise. residential guys to get into more of the safety aspect and be trained to, not suffer any falls and, keep everybody safe.
For sure. One thing I want people to know about what you've done, especially with the best practices. So just so everyone knows, there's kind of been standards throughout the years, right? Obviously, back in the day, I mean, they literally just had a belt; they're just hanging off there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you had to make sure those hooks were good, right? The anchors on every
Right.
single window had to be tested because your life was relying on being on that belt, and you were putting your whole weight on it to
That's
clean these
correct.
windows. Over time, people started dropping, so you can have swing stages, which are big old cages, and then you've got people just on ropes, and they've got different means to be safe on that. So over the years, the train, or at least the recommended safe practices, has changed over the years, and recently the IWCA made some really big changes. Could you just elaborate on some of those and why those changes were important?
For sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I know a lot of the history, but I'll talk about kind of where I came in. I joined the board somewhere around 2018 to fill a seat, 2017, 2018. And, coming from a high-rise background and knowing the IWCA by then, my first convention was like 2009, I think. Back in the day, we used to just need to go online, do a test, and now we're high-rise window cleaners, and we can have a certificate. But, with the ever-evolving safety standards and also the equipment and all of that, I challenged the board to, for us to be safer, right? And not only just be able to just give out some type of document and now you're hanging off a skyscraper, backed by the IWCA, right? So uh, the board decided that we should kind of revamp what the safety standards are in reference to the IWCA, and the safe practices document started being created. We took about almost 2.5 years or so to
Yeah,
create that document, and it got released in, I think 2021 is got released, 2022.
yeah, sounds right. Yeah.
So, we're really excited about it. We've been working really hard to bring that document to not only to life but to the masses, and it's taken off pretty well.
Nice. Well, it's made a big change, or it really helps to kind of focus in on what's important. And I think that's the hardest thing when you've got people, some who are newer high-rise people, and you've got some who literally been doing it for 30, 40 years, right?
Right.
They're kind of entrenched in their old ways. They don't want to change. They don't like the redundancies.
Right.
They don't like wearing a helmet. And so what this
Right.
does is the new training helps to explain why that's important. And it's taken data
That's
from
exactly right.
falls, injuries, deaths, and said what caused those. We're going to do our best to mitigate those as much as possible with these best practices. So it
That's
was
exactly.
really needed. And yeah, all the hard work you guys put into it is just truly admirable, because it's literally saving lives. So thank you so much. Anything you want to share about that experience,
Yeah.
that you had that opportunity to kind of be at the table for that?
Yeah. Well, it was. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, honestly. But there were some hard conversations to be had because
Yeah.
we wanted to find the best way that, and easiest route for a new guy or an old guy to be, not old in the sense of age but
Right,
experience,
right, yeah. It's been
to
doing it a
be
long
able
time, yeah.
take the document, understand it, and follow through with it. So we standardize a lot of things like the knots, right? There's hundreds of knots that you can pretty much use, but we boiled it down to 3 knots that anybody could use and hang off a skyscraper. The helmet kicked in. The helmet's been a difficult thing for a lot of people to swallow, but you can see it in social media, right? There's a lot more guys just picking it up. And,
Yeah,
that's really good to see. I mean, a helmet saved my life 3 times already, not specifically in high rise, but I believe in the use of helmets, right? So
yeah.
I'm really, really happy about that. And if you don't mind, I want to share, we not only just came out with the safe practices in that sense, but we also made a tier to it, right? So you can
Yeah, yeah,
become
absolutely.
authorized and, you know, basically show your basic skills and your know-how, and then you're an authorized high-rise, RDS technician. Then you'll go out into the field, gain at minimum 480 hours, which is at approximately 6 months of work. Then you can come back and actually be certified. So, we wanted to make that here in reference to being able to bring on everybody. Doesn't matter if you're brand new or you have all the experience that you say you do, but let's put everybody through the process, make sure everybody's good, and then get them certified. So now we're more at the certified stage because it's been a few years now since the document's been in play. So a live document. So we're really excited as the IWCA to get more certified guys out there.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Just something that alongside with that, because obviously you've just talked about all the hard work that went into getting the documents there, right? To get the best practices in the hands of high-rise people, but they're written in English. And something that you and I both know, the majority of workers who are doing high-rise, a lot of them are, I shouldn't say majority, but a high percentage are Spanish speaking. And so while they understand some English, some of the more technical terms may be difficult for them to understand. And since we're dealing with their life, you did something pretty amazing. Could you talk a little bit about the work you did with the translation of those best practices into Spanish?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So it wasn't only the best practices, but it was up to that point. And this was actually COVID, and it's a funny story, but I translated, I would say, all documents that existed up to that point. So
wow.
Unluckily, but luckily, COVID hit, and I was just sitting around not doing much, as most people were, right? And I got the thought of, like, why wouldn't I just start doing these things now and start translating all these documents? So I started going into the Google Drives and asking for documents to be sent to me. And I mean, I spent most of COVID just translating documents. It made COVID go by faster for me. I enjoyed it, and it helped people. My native tongue is Spanish, and my second tongue is English, and I know that there's a lot of people that battle with that. So, in reference to not only the documents themselves, but once you're talking about actual training, people need to hear it in their native language, right? One of my most difficult things to do really was not the specific translation, but finding the right term, because I had to find one only term to put into that document that all of South America and Mexico and Europe, Spanish speaking Europe, would be able to recognize that, right? For example, carabiner. And so that was the most difficult thing, that for me personally. But I did my best, and I'm sure there's more things because I've left the board now, and it's been a few years since I've done that. But yeah, I was happy to do it, and I'm happy that it's being used.
That's awesome, man. That's really commendable. Seriously, it's again, we talked about saving lives. Just that act, you took advantage of of what was a horrible time, which was COVID, and you brought something really good out of it, and that's really commendable. Now, you're going to be doing some Spanish language training at the IWCA convention, or the
correct. Convention? Yeah, so not only that, but I'm bringing some of my techs with me, and two of them are going to help with Spanish specifically. So Martin is going to be at the registration booth, helping all the Spanish speakers get registered. And Alan is going to be in all of the areas that specifically talk about safety classes, in a sense. And he's going to be present just to be able to, make that translation into the native tongue of Spanish, whoever it may be, right? Because one of the most difficult things that we could deal with is having a Spanish attendee come to the convention and take a class in reference to safety, misunderstand, and go back home and get in an accident. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So they'll be available to help with that. And I personally will be doing the RDS authorizations in Spanish as well. So I'll be along with Mike Draper. Any Spanish speakers, I'll take over, and we'll work it that way.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have that again. We did have it a few years ago, and then we had a couple, 1 or 2 years off. I can't remember, and that was a tragedy, because we know there was people coming who were looking forward to those Spanish language courses,
Correct.
and we're disappointed they weren't there. So I'm so glad that we got you back, and that we're able to reinstitute that. Speaking about the convention, first let me show a video here, just so you guys know. So George and I, we have something in common. We're both certified Ed craftsmen. And so a couple of years ago, they came out and took some videos of us. I'm going to just show the video here. Hold on. Let me get to it. So if you go to the Ed YouTube channel, you'll see both of these videos. So I was episode 2, George's episode 3. And they just interview us and just talk about it. We just express what it means to be an Ed craftsman. We talk about our journey and all. It's really interesting. If you really want to get to know George a little better, I really encourage you to watch it. He tells just an amazing story about a lot of different things. Two things I did want to address in the video. One was, you said that you didn't go to college, but the IWCA conventions were your college. So could you elaborate a little bit on that? Because we know some people watching, this is going to be their first convention they go to, and you can kind of help them get prepared for what to expect when they come.
I started my business in 2006. I found the IWCA in 2009. I was broke. And I spent my last dollars getting out to Atlanta. And, it was the best money that I could have spent. I made friends. I met, the WCR guys who were just starting out as well. I met past presidents, and I met friends now that I know for life. And I took that knowledge and those contacts, and I actually intentionally drove there just because I knew that I would have this, you have 3 or 4 days of just information coming in, right? Information overload, and you have to somehow, think about all of that. So I intentionally drove a lot of years to be able to process that information coming back and kind of mastermind my own thing that I wanted to do every year. And, as the time occurred every annual convention, I would go back with questions, and now I knew the people that I could, go up to and ask, right? And so I really treated it like my schooling, my college. I attended every class. I got every certification. I just, made friends and made more friends, and I was able to get the questions answered and process those thought processes and create, ideas to be able to, fruition even more as a business. So if it wasn't for the IWCA, I mean, I don't think that I would be where I am in my life, in my business. Also, obviously, friendships. You create these lifelong friendships, and I'm very grateful, and that's why, I wanted to join the board, and I was on the board for so long, and I did all of those, translations at no cost because I just wanted to pay back what I felt that I owed. So.
Total same. Yeah, same feelings, and why I'm on the board now because of that. So I appreciate you expressing that. One other thing that I wanted you to just tell people a little bit about, because of your focus on safety, it didn't just come out of anywhere. There was 3 incidents that really had made a big impression on you to really hone in your desire to teach other people about safety. If you don't mind sharing those experiences.
Yeah. The most impact, that I had in my life was a friend of mine that helped me actually grow my first business had left our business and found another window cleaning company. Us not knowing, he had fallen off of a roof, and it took about two or 3 days for me to find out. Um, I saw my friend in a coma for 31 days, and we had to live through that. And not only that, but he was a really close friend of mine. His brother was a very close friend of my sister's, and his mom was a very close friend of my mom's. Like, we grew up together when we were kids. So it hurt not only me, but my entire family. And we dealt with that as a family. And we were, there as much as we could. And I never, ever want to see anybody that I know or don't know in our industry go through something like that. So that's why we created the facility. That's why I got onto the board. That's why, I've done every single thing that I've done, because I don't want that guy out there on that ladder, on that rope. Those are the frontline workers. I want them to be safe so they can go home, because you don't ever want to get that call. You don't ever want to make that call, and that's
Yeah.
why, yeah, we're there. So I've also fallen off a roof, and I suffer those consequences. I was gutter cleaning, and I was using water, and I slipped, and I fell, and I fell onto concrete, and I've got a back injury from it. So on a daily basis, I'm in the gym, stretching and pulling all those muscles out so I can actually function during the day. And I feel it on a daily basis. So not only do I have the mental part from my friend, but I also have the physical part from me falling as well. So
Yeah.
that's why that roof structure is right there.
Yeah, for sure. You also had a friend pass away, right, from a fall?
Not a friend. That was my
Oh,
grandfather.
okay. Oh, your
My
grandfather. That's what
grandfather
it was.
went up
Okay.
on a ladder. My grandfather went up on a ladder and got on a roof, was trying to cut down some branches off this tree, and fell and
Mm,
died on the way to the hospital.
man.
Yep.
Yeah. So you've had a lot of heartache, and like you said, you
Yep.
still have reminders of that fall. So it just shows it's more than just you fall, you dust yourself off, you're embarrassed. Yeah, it happens to some guys. They can walk away with relatively minor issues, but it's sometimes the lingering ones. If it's not the most serious of death or being paralyzed, you can still have issues throughout that. So you can see
Yeah.
why that's your background, why safety is so important to you. You know what it can do to people. You know what how it
Yeah.
can
No,
affect people. So
100%.
uh,
100%.
absolutely, really appreciate that. So just getting back to the IWCA, what do you recommend to someone who is interested in getting into high rise? So they've been a window cleaner for a while, and now kind of like you, they're like, I wonder if this is something that would work for me. What would you recommend to them? How should they go about that process of becoming a high rise window cleaner?
Yeah, so I mean, the IWCA has good education online. You can start there. The safe practices document is on the IWCA website, is also in Spanish. You can go through those just so you can at least know what the regulations are in reference to being able to do the work that we do. There are certified instructors out there that can come out and help you with, learning more. We've got at High Training, we specialize in hands-on training. So we can come to you and train you on equipment, inspections, ascending, descending, and everything that goes into, being a high-rise window cleaner. You're more than welcome to come to our shop. We've got a glass wall that's 30 feet long. You can actually like get on the ropes and lose all of the balance, right? Because Gabe knows how to window clean really well on his feet, but as soon as you get
That's
him on
absolutely
some rope, that's gonna change. So you can come
yes,
out here. We've got a parapet wall. We have a site that doesn't have a parapet wall. You can learn how to get in and out of the chair. So we've
nice.
got a 1 day, 2 day, and 3 day training, depending on your experience, to be able to get full hands-on training. So I highly recommend going that route. I'm not saying you have to choose us, but definitely read the document, read the safe practices, know
Yeah.
what the regulations are. Look up 1910.27, which is a lot of the high-rise stuff that deals with OSHA, and get some hands-on training first, and that way you can feel very confident within yourself to be able to get out there and do the work. Right? That's more
Yeah.
specifically in getting into high-rise and actually doing it. Obviously, the insurance comes into play depending on the state that you're in. There's regulations within every state and even by the city. So you got to kind of do your due diligence on that and be able to, know how to respect those rules.
All right, very cool. Well, we do have a question in the group. First of all, just a lot of people popping in. Thank you so much for listening. Jessica Battle, AJ, Craig. We got Jake Van Orden. He has a question. He says, you and Michael Draper are awesome guys. I need to re-up my cert. When are you coming back to Utah at Petzl? Do you know if that's in the plans to do the best practices there again?
I don't know that actually. That's a Mike Draper contact in a sense. So
okay,
he would be the one to know exactly when we would be going back to IW or to Petzl or when an expert would be going back to Petzl
or somewhere else. Yeah. Well, he's in Utah, so I know that's why he's interested in the Petzl. That's an easy drive for him.
He's got to come to the IWCA and he can do it there.
Yeah. Well, he can't make it this year. He's actually really bummed. He really wanted to come this year, but he's got some stuff going on. But hopefully we'll get him there again. But yeah, Jake, we'll keep you posted, man. I know they're really wanting to do a lot more regional trainings like that and keep it going. So we look forward to getting it in the areas where people make it as easy as possible for them to get the trainings. But yeah, you can always get it at the convention. So hopefully we see you there. But okay, very cool. So we're just about done. We're just about out of time. I did want to share one more thing just in general. So those of us who have been to the conventions know one of the highlights is the speed cleaning competition. And tomorrow we're going to talk to Corey Klimas. He's actually one of the speed cleaning champions. He won, I think it was in 2024. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But we just want to highlight this. This is brand new this year for both the men and so this year, there's actually a $500 award to whoever wins the speed cleaning competition. It's sponsored by Ettore, which is very generous of them. They're just really wanting to get a lot more competition in there, get people who are going to be practicing and ready for this. And I hear rumors there's people who are going to be coming from out of the country. I know Brazil is sending a squad. They really have their eye on winning this competition. I've heard rumors people are going to be coming from Europe as well to try and compete this year.
Very cool.
So yeah, if you guys think you guys are up for it, man, show up there. Anybody can enter. It's an inexpensive payment to compete and get in there and try it. Even if you just do it for the experience, it is so fun. It is like one of the funnest things I've ever done. And you're all nervous. It's like, when you watch it on YouTube or whatever, and you're like, who's doing that? That's easy. Look at and you start being all nitpicky on their technique. And then you get up there and you are in front of the crowd and there's a ton of people cheering and you're like, do I even know how to clean windows? I mean, you they let you practice, you do, you totally forget everything. And, of course, it's not your equipment. It's kind of a weird window. So it's like you really have to do it a few times to get used to it. But Corey went through that, man. I think that was his third attempt and he won. So we'll get to talk to him about that and what that experience is like. But, man, $500, hey, we could all use that, right? I'll pay for your hotel for the trip for sure. So anyways, just wanted to make sure we brought that out. Have you ever competed?
I have not. No. I just by the time we get to that area, and especially because I've been on the board for so long, I've had other things to do. So last year was my first year that I could actually attend as an attendee. So I've asked some of my guys to do the medley. We'll see what happens. I've got 4 of my guys coming out. We're actually going to have a booth there, so everybody's welcome to come visit with us in reference to getting to know what we do and how we can help you. And so hopefully they'll do the medley.
Me and Corey, I think 3 years in a row, we've come either in second or third of the medley. And we're just like, we are going to win this one of these days. We're just always just short of it, man. So anyways, hopefully I've come in second in the speed cleaning, but that was the closest I got to it. Nice. Yeah. It's tough, man. It is tough. So looking forward to having that competition. But anything else you want to promote? Your at-height training, anything else before we sign off?
No, I mean, hopefully everybody that's watching, we'll see you there. Come say hi. We've got a booth set up. And, we'll talk about how we can help with at-height training. We also have Empire High Rise USA. So if you get calls in your city and don't know how to do the high rise, we can partner up and do it for you. So come learn more about it in our booth.
Awesome. Yeah, please say hi to George. He's just a great guy. I'm really glad that I got to have lunch with you. That's that sushi lunch. I still to this day regret I didn't pay for it, man. We split it, and after we left, I was like, "What did I?
Hey,
I'll take you. I should have bought that, man." Let's do it, man. I owe you. I will get steak and lobster. We'll do that. But appreciate. I look forward to seeing you, George. I look forward to seeing everybody who's going. So many new people are going to be there, and I just can't wait for them to experience the convention as I did when I first went. It really was something special. So, all right, guys, we'll see you later tomorrow, same time. We're going to have Corey Klimas on. Look forward to talking. He's always fun. Me and him have known each other for a while and worked together for a while. So I look forward for you guys getting to know him better. But thanks again, George. You have a great day. And you guys all take care. We'll see you soon.
See you. Bye.